Bangladesh, a land of lush green landscapes, vibrant culture and warm hospitality. From the bustling markets to the serene countryside, the spirit of Bangladesh is palpable in every corner, a country often praised for its economic progress and resilience. The skyline of Dhaka tells a story of rapid urbanization and growth, while the bustling markets showcase the entrepreneurial spirit of its people. But behind this facade lies a darker reality, a truth often hidden from the world's view. In the shadows of progress, many struggle with poverty and hardship. This is the story of the other Bangladesh, a nation grappling with complex challenges that threaten its very soul. The stark contrast between wealth and poverty is a daily reminder of the struggles faced by many. Bangladesh, a country smaller than the state of Florida, is home to a staggering 165 million people. The sheer density of the population is both a marvel and a challenge. Imagine cramming the entire population of Russia into a space half the size. The implications of such density are profound and far-reaching. This immense population density puts a strain on resources and amplifies every problem. From access to clean water to adequate housing, the challenges are immense. Welcome to a world where rivers run black with pollution, forests vanish overnight, and millions struggle to survive on less than $2 a day. Environmental degradation and poverty are intertwined in a vicious cycle. This is the reality for a vast segment of Bangladeshi society, a reality we cannot afford to ignore. The resilience of the people is remarkable, but the challenges they face are daunting and require urgent attention. Bangladesh is a land of rivers, a network of waterways that pulse through the country like arteries. But these lifelines are under attack. Every day, millions of gallons of untreated industrial waste are pumped directly into these rivers, turning them into toxic sewers. The Buriganga River, once a source of life and beauty, is now a symbol of environmental devastation. Its waters, choked with plastic, chemicals and sewage, are a grave threat to human health and the ecosystem. The stench alone is enough to make you gag. The consequences are catastrophic. Fish are dying, crops are failing, and people are getting sick. Waterborne diseases like cholera and typhoid are rampant. The very essence of life, water, has become a source of suffering. Rapid urbanization is another nail in the coffin for Bangladesh's environment. As cities like Dhaka and Chittagong explode in size, forests are being cleared at an alarming rate to make way for concrete buildings and infrastructure. Bangladesh is losing its lungs, its natural filters for clean air and water. The Sundarbans, the world's largest mangrove forest and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is under constant threat from deforestation and rising sea levels. It's like watching the Amazon rainforest disappear in fast motion. The loss of these natural treasures has dire consequences. Increased flooding, soil erosion, and loss of biodiversity are just the tip of the iceberg. Bangladesh is on the front lines of climate change, and its people are paying the price. Bangladesh's garment industry is a global powerhouse, churning out clothes for major international brands. This industry has grown exponentially over the years, becoming a vital part of the country's economy and providing employment to millions. But this success comes at a steep cost, one that is often hidden from the consumers who buy these clothes. The industry is notorious for its unsafe working conditions and exploitation of workers, many of whom are women. These women work tirelessly, often under immense pressure, to meet the demands of fast fashion. Remember the Rana Plaza collapse of 2013? It was one of the deadliest industrial disasters in history. Over 1,100 garment workers, mostly women, lost their lives when a poorly constructed building collapsed on top of them. The tragedy left countless families devastated and highlighted the dire need for better safety regulations. It was a wake-up call to the world about the human cost of cheap fashion. The incident sparked global outrage and led to calls for reform in the garment industry. Despite some improvements, many garment workers in Bangladesh still toil in cramped, poorly ventilated factories, earning poverty wages. These conditions make it difficult for workers to maintain their health and well-being. They face long hours, verbal abuse, and even physical harassment. The relentless pressure to produce more in less time takes a severe toll on their physical and mental health. Their lives are literally on the line for a meager wage. The struggle for fair treatment and safe working conditions continues as these workers fight for their rights and dignity. Section 5. Trapped in Poverty, a Cycle of Despair. Despite significant economic progress, poverty remains a pervasive problem in Bangladesh. Millions of people struggle to survive on less than $2 a day, lacking access to basic necessities like food, clean water, and healthcare. Imagine a life where every day is a struggle to put food on the table, where your children go to bed hungry, and a simple illness can bankrupt your family. This is the harsh reality for a significant portion of Bangladesh's population. The cycle of poverty is a vicious one. Lack of education, limited job opportunities, and inadequate healthcare trap generations in a web of deprivation. Breaking free from this cycle requires a Herculean effort. Section 6. Stolen Lives, the Scourge of Human Trafficking. Bangladesh, with its porous borders and high poverty rates, is a prime target for human traffickers. Every year, thousands of men, women, and children are tricked, coerced, or kidnapped and forced into exploitative situations. These modern-day slaves are subjected to unimaginable horrors. Women and girls are trafficked into sexual slavery, forced to work in brothels or sold as brides. Men and boys are forced into labor, toiling in dangerous conditions on fishing boats, construction sites, or farms. The trauma and suffering these victims endure are immeasurable. They are robbed of their freedom, their dignity, and their future. Human trafficking is a stain on the conscience of humanity, a crime that demands our attention and action. Section 7. The Corrupt Machine, where power trumps justice. Corruption is a cancer that eats away at the fabric of society, and Bangladesh is no stranger to its corrosive effects. From petty bribery to grand-scale embezzlement, corruption permeates all levels of government and society. Imagine a system where justice is for sale, where the wealthy and powerful can buy their way out of trouble while the poor and marginalized suffer the consequences. This is the reality in a country where corruption thrives. This culture of impunity breeds distrust in institutions, undermines the rule of law, and stifles economic growth. It creates a system where the deck is stacked against the average citizen, eroding trust and fueling resentment. Section 8. A House Divided, Political Turmoil and Its Toll. Bangladesh has a long and turbulent political history, marked by coups, assassinations, and periods of authoritarian rule. The political landscape is deeply polarized, with two main parties, the Awami League and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party or BNP, locked in a bitter rivalry. This political instability creates an environment of uncertainty and fear. Violent protests, hartals, also known as general strikes, and political violence are common occurrences, disrupting daily life and hindering economic progress. The lack of political consensus and the winner-take-all nature of politics make it challenging to address the country's pressing problems. It's a system where political expediency often trumps the needs of the people. Section 9. A Muzzled Media, the Silencing of Dissent. A free and independent media is the cornerstone of a healthy democracy. It ensures that the public remains informed and aware of the actions of those in power. It holds power to account, exposes wrongdoing, and gives a voice to the voiceless. Without it, corruption and abuse of power can flourish unchecked. Unfortunately, in Bangladesh, the media operates under a cloud of fear and intimidation. Journalists face constant threats that undermine their ability to report freely. Journalists who dare to criticize the government or powerful figures risk harassment, intimidation, and even imprisonment. This creates an environment where truth is often suppressed. The Digital Security Act, a vaguely worded law, has been used to silence dissenting voices and stifle online criticism. This law has become a tool for oppression. This climate of fear creates a chilling effect on free expression. Journalists and citizens alike are wary of the consequences of speaking out. Self-censorship becomes the norm, as journalists and citizens think twice before speaking out against injustice or abuse of power. The fear of retribution looms large. The truth becomes a casualty in this battle for control of the narrative. In such an environment, the very essence of democracy is at risk, as the free flow of information is stifled. Section 10. Hope Amidst the Ruins, the Fight for a Better Bangladesh. Despite the daunting challenges, there is hope. Amidst the darkness, there are flickers of light, stories of resilience, courage, and determination. Across Bangladesh, individuals and organizations are working tirelessly to create a better future. Grassroots activists are fighting for environmental justice, demanding accountability from polluters, and advocating for sustainable development. Educators are empowering the next generation with knowledge and skills. breaking the cycle of poverty through education. There are courageous journalists risking their freedom to expose corruption and speak truth to power. And there are ordinary citizens, everyday heroes, who refuse to give up on their dreams for a more just and equitable Bangladesh. Section 11. A call to action. The world is watching. The story of Bangladesh is a complex one, a tapestry woven with threads of hope, despair, resilience, and struggle. It's a story that demands our attention, our empathy, and our action. We cannot stand idly by while millions suffer. We cannot turn a blind eye to the environmental devastation, the human rights abuses, and the political turmoil that plague this nation. The fate of Bangladesh is interconnected with our own. The world is watching Bangladesh. Let us stand in solidarity with those fighting for a brighter future. Let us amplify their voices, support their efforts, and demand justice, accountability, and a better tomorrow for all.